alphabetical order. So Nicholas Kamaz will present his opening remarks first, followed by Javier Manjarres, then Edison Walters. The first question will go to Javi Manjarres, followed by Edison and then Nicholas. Edison will present his closing statement first, followed by Nicholas. Followed by Nicholas. Thank you. Followed by Nicholas, and then Javi. After the initial question, subsequent questions will be rotated in the same manner. The opening statement, where the candidates will get up, is 1 minute each. It will be approximately 8 to 10 questions asked of each candidate, depending on time. Each candidate will be given a maximum of 2 minutes to answer each question. At 1.5 minutes, there will be a 30-second warning by our timekeeper, Carol. The questions were submitted and compiled by the Americans for Trump board and edited as appropriate, and from questions submitted by our audience members and others who bought tickets in advance. There are no questions from the floor. The candidates are not permitted to directly attack each other, and I'm going to stay on that like white on rice, okay? We're not going to attack each other, but are permitted, they are permitted to respond to any question where they are mentioned directly, but I'm going to hold that specifically tight too. But if they mention them, they can respond when they get back up, and I'll enforce that strictly. We're going to have decorum, and we're going to be patriots, and we're going to have this for an educational experience. The forum is designed to educate the public as to the candidates' platforms and positions of items of major importance, not only in South Florida, Fort Lauderdale, District 22, but across the United States and the world. At the conclusion of the questions, each candidate will be permitted a 1-minute closing statement. I'm going to be your host and moderator, and as you see, our candidates are at the top in the high chairs so everyone can see and hear them clearly. And with that, we're going to proceed when I have my questions. Where's my briefcase? Yes. Yeah. Nicholas will be starting with his opening statement for 1 minute.
Hello, everyone. Hi. Good seeing you all. God bless America. My name is Nicholas Kamaz, married for 24 years, have 3 grown children. I'm a naturopathic doctor, been healing the world for 30 years. I've built 40 clinics around the world to help bring healing, natural healing. I am at the moment running for Congress in District 22 to defeat Ted Deutsch. I love America. I love our Constitution. I love our flag. And I'm all for In God We Trust, under God as a nation, one nation. I'm here to serve you, and I'm running to help make this country great, keep it safe, and make it the best in the world for now and ever.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Javier Manjarres. Many of you already know me. I've been doing this for 10 years. You all know where I've been. I've been on the tip of the spear against this liberal movement that has crippled our country. My bona fides are beyond reproach. My conservative Republican bona fides, we all know where they stand. So there's no questioning that. But let me just say this. I've lived in this district all my life. I'm 14, believe it or not, 45. I don't look a day over 90, sorry. But believe it or not, I'm 45. I've been here, been a registered Republican since the age of 18. It's a long time. I've been here all my life, know the district. I went to Coral Springs High School. Father, been here, like I said, all my life. And like I said, we're at a point where this district, let me try to find my words here. This election is so important because in this district, the Democrats never thought they'd have to defend this district.
Right.
When we announced our candidacy last year, our exploratory, first thing Ted Deutsch did was welcome me into the debate. Well, we challenged the 6 debates, and he hasn't responded. We'll talk more about it later.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Edison Walters. You know, there's a song that's really dear to my heart. And the words of the song ring so true in my life. There's a song that says, if tomorrow all the things were lost, I worked for all my life. And I had to start all over with my children and my wife. I thank the lucky stars to be living here today, because the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. So we are living in the greatest country in the history of this world. And I'm not ashamed to stand up here and say that. I'm an immigrant that came to this country. My parents came to this country 47 years ago, like so many Americans, because they believed in the principles of the American dream. They opened a business, worked real hard, and they were able to provide a college education for me and my 2 brothers and sisters. Thank you so much.
Thank you, candidate, for that wonderful opening. And the first question, and by the way, audience, each candidate will answer the same question. There'll be one question directed to each of them individually at some point during the forum. But you'll hear one question, they'll all answer it until they get their specific question. So the first question will go to Javi. Javi, at a Florida Democrat Party conference in Hollywood, the newly elected Fort Lauderdale mayor, Dean Trantalis, went on the record saying, quote, "These days subtlety doesn't work. I'm sorry people feel offended when they are out in public and they're accosted. That is a consequence of who you are and what you represent. They need to be held accountable for the views they represent, whether they're at a restaurant table, a street corner, or a gathering of their supporters like this." So Mr. Manjares, if Mayor Trantalis was here tonight and stated that the best way to respond to President Trump's policies is through in-your-face resistance, not polite civil discourse, tell our audience what you would say to him.
Well, first of all, I would say to them, listen, this is par for the course for you guys. Their message is no different than it was 10 years ago when I first started this business. This is who they are. Look, a couple days ago, they attacked one of my supporters, a special needs individual. Great kid. They attacked the way he looked. This is who they are. But Mr. Trantalis, I saw him a couple weeks back at the Fort Lauderdale Commission, and look, he was right on the wave, that trolley to nowhere. But I would just tell him, look, I know who you are, this is who you are, this is who Ted Deutsch is. This is the party, it's not the party of JFK anymore, this is the party of Barack Obama, of Ted Deutsch, of incivility. So to me, I would just say, hey, we expect this from you and nothing less.
Thank you, sir. Next, Mr. Walters, do you need the question again, or are you prepared to respond?
Thank you for the question. You know, many Americans have given their blood, sweat, and tears to stand up for the right for people to voice their opinion. And you know, the Constitution is the underpinning of the American dream. And the First Amendment is just as much as part of the Constitution as anything else. You know, I was so proud. One of the proudest days of my life was when I stood up and took the oath and joined the United States Army. Because I believe that people should have the right to live in this country and the right to pursue whatever dreams they have despite our differences. So when you attack people because of their opinion or because of who they work for, you're not only attacking them, but you're attacking the Constitution, which is the rock and the foundation of the American dream.
Nick, do you need the question or you're good?
I'm good. We are the children of God. Just like Jesus Christ was attacked, just because we believe in God, we are attacked. America is under attack. This mayor represents evil. He represents a party and a mindset that is bringing this country down.
Amen.
And this is the reason I'm stepping in. I'm a fighter, I'm a warrior, I'm a believer, and we have to stand in their face with love, but I'll stand strong, stand behind our Constitution, stand behind our First Amendment, stand behind what we believe, and through that, we will make them understand that United States, America, is for the views of the Republicans, of what we think, our beliefs in this country to make it great, will make him understand and put him in his place like we have done to many others like him. So we stand strong under God with faith and believe, so they understand, and he understands, him and like him others, that we are strong with our faith, and we're not going to allow him and others to put us down and to put our faith down.
Thank you very much, sir. Next question will go to the next question will be to Edison. We'll start. Mr. Walters, the incumbent congressman, Ted Deutsch, that one of our esteemed guests on the panel will compete against in November, has a grade of F by the NRA.
Yep.
And has received $0 in campaign contributions from the NRA. Two-part question to you. Are you a member of the NRA? And if so, why? And if not, why not? And two, have you accepted or would you accept campaign contributions from the NRA during this election cycle?
Thank you for the question. You know, the Second Amendment is just as much a part of our Constitution than any other amendment in the Constitution. When you attack the Second Amendment, you attack the foundation that the greatest country in the history of the world was built upon. You know, after the Parkland shooting, I actually extended my NRA membership for multiple years. So not only am I a member of the NRA, I am a multiple year member of the NRA, and I actually paid up my dues for several years so they can be equipped for the fight that I knew was coming after the Parkland shooting.
I am a lifetime member of the NRA. And yes, I will accept money from them. The reason I am an NRA member, I not only believe in the Second Amendment, I was a child soldier in the Christian militia in Beirut, Lebanon. At age 15, I understand the importance of having guns and being armed. I fought against the jihadists, I fought against the PLO, I fought against the communists, and if the Christians of Lebanon were not armed, I wouldn't be here today. I support the NRA, and it is our right to have the Second Amendment and to be armed to defend ourselves.
Thank you, sir. You're right.
Well, look, we're all Second Amendment supporters here. Look, I just was endorsed by the Gun Owners of America, which is considered an extreme right of the NRA. And I'm paying for it, and it's a badge of honor because Ted Deutsch and all his minions are attacking me being an NRA hack. And you know, I accept that, you know, and I accept dollars from them, and I'll accept the mailings that are come, the fundraising donations that are going to come from the GOA and eventually the NRA. Oops. Yeah, we'll take any money we can get against Ted Deutsch, because what we're fighting against, we're up against the entire anti-gun lobby. Even David Hogg has gone after me. Listen, we clowned him and he got pissed off. And, at the end of the day, it's all good, because even as of today, they've been attacking me because of my position on the Second Amendment.
Nicholas, I believe you're the first up for the next question. In November of 2016, Congressman Ted Deutsch was reelected against his Republican opponent with 58.9% of the vote versus 41.1% for his Republican challenger. Tell our audience why you believe you will perform any better in 2018, and what distinguishes you from your two primary challengers.
I believe that Ted Deutsch has never been challenged. None of the Republicans who ran against him in the last 3 races were serious enough. They did not work hard enough. They did not raise enough money. I have pledged my own money to make sure that I'm well funded to defeat Ted Deutsch. I have been for 12 months going after him. I am serious. I'm a warrior. I'm a fighter. I'm a believer. And I'm running because this district is in need of a man like me, who's serious, who could defeat him, and will have the district, most of the district, who I have been in touch with, they have showed support, they have encouraged me, they have been donating and volunteering, and I'm so thankful to them. And what makes me a part of my opponents is my passion, my experience, my background as an entrepreneur, as a fighter, as a warrior, and the knowledge I have in this world, and my faith in God, and my faith in Jesus Christ. This will make me the best candidate to defeat Ted Deutsch.
Do you need the question, or you're prepared to go? Go ahead, sir.
So we explored this campaign about a year ago. First day, like I said, we announced Ted Deutsch welcoming for a spirited debate. So we acknowledged him. We challenged the sixth form. Since then, at that point, we started a committee. And I could say that up until this day, today, we have raised $1 million between my campaign and that committee that we started. So to win this race, you may have grassroots. That's great. We have a lot of grassroots support, but you need money to win. If you don't have money, you're dead in the water. I mean, there's no point in running. Why are you running? If you can't raise money, that's a key, raising money. Anyone can put money in. Anyone can slap a big check, regardless of where that money comes from, to get in the race. But are you willing to spend over $1 million of your own dollars to fight this fight? Candidates need to ask themselves if they're willing to put that money in, because that's what's going to take to defeat Ted Deutsch. Not so much Ted Deutsch, but the entire liberal establishment. Let me just tell you, I'm feeling it. I feel it every day. And there's not a time when I don't put on the TV or when I don't hear a story written about me or on Twitter, on Facebook, where the Democrats are trolling me or going after me. Why? Because I'm the threat. Because I'm the threat they never saw coming in a race they never thought they had to defend from someone like me. So what sets me aside from my opponents, it's very simple. There's a lot, believe me, there is a lot. But I don't need to have to put my own money in, even though I have spent about $6,900 in expenses, but I haven't written a check to my campaign. That speaks volumes, because I can raise money. Like I said, we've raised $1 million.
You're right that money alone can't win an election. All the money in the world, if you're a bad candidate who has a criminal record, a record of violence that's a mile long, all the money in the world is not going to make you a good candidate. I didn't plan on running for Congress. You know, I was finishing up with the work on my doctorate degree, and I wanted to support a candidate in this race. And when I looked at the candidate in this race, I was literally horrified, because neither of the other candidates in this race absolutely have a chance to win in November. You know, we need candidates that have the education, the experience, and the background and the temperament to serve in Congress. When you have a violent past, and in the last 12 months, since 2017, you have 3 different people filed cases against you for restraining orders, dating violence, stalking violence, and things like that nature. You have to be very arrogant to believe that you can explain things like that away. When you pled guilty to driving into a man's house, breaking down his door, going into his house and insulting him, the level of arrogance that you have to put your name to represent the Republican Party is really disturbing, and I have a problem with that.
Take it easy, take it easy.
30-second response.
Oh, for me? He was directing that to me. First of all, Commissioner Epps, what are you doing up here? What are you doing up here? Are you even registered to vote in Florida? I'm going to answer that for him. He's not. Let me read from the book of Edison Walters. Mr. Walters, or Walker, Republican, Democrat, whatever you are, is registered to vote in Florida and in Alabama. Now, that's something straight out of the Clinton Foundation, because I don't know how that happens. Can you explain that? He can't, because he's scared.
Nicholas, anything you'd like to add?
He had a chance. He was too afraid to say anything.
No, it's not a debate. You made your point and you respond. Nicholas, anything you want to add for your 30 seconds?
No, I have nothing to add to this.
Next question for Mr. Walters. Mr. Walters, President Trump recently stated that rather than hiring more judges to handle immigration cases on the southern border, undocumented immigrants should instead be immediately sent back to their country of origin, avoiding any interaction with the United States court system. Do you agree with President Trump? And if so, why? Or do you believe even non-citizens are entitled to due process and a chance to ask for political asylum in the United States?
You know, when you cross the border in the middle of the desert somewhere and you don't go to a checkpoint, I don't believe that you should be entitled to political asylum. And I don't think you should tie up the time of our courts with, you know, because what happened is if you really were interested in political asylum, you would go to a proper checkpoint and do it the right way. So I absolutely believe in what the policies that President Trump is trying to enact, and I hope that Congress would agree with the president and we would propose legislation to support and end to illegal immigration. Not only that, I believe illegal immigration should be tied to trade with Mexico. Mexico has tariffs on our products going into their country, and we don't have tariffs on their products coming here. Mexico can solve the problem on the southern border if they choose, but they allow these people to come through their country to the southern border, and it needs to be tied to trade. Mexico cannot win a trade war with the United States, so we need to hit them with tariffs until they decide that they want to put an end to what's happening on the southern border.
Question again.
Absolutely. President Trump recently stated that rather than hiring more judges to handle immigration cases on the southern border, undocumented immigrants should instead be immediately sent back to their country of origin, avoiding any interaction with the United States court system. Do you agree with President Trump? And if so, why? Or do you believe even non-citizens are entitled to due process and a chance to ask for political asylum in the United States?
I totally agree with the president. This is the reason we support the wall. The wall, in order to stop the flood of illegal immigration, of children trafficking, of this modern children trafficking that is happening, of drug trafficking. The problems that we're facing because of this illegal immigration go greater than what the liberals are crying about. Yes, we need to deport them without court due process. And yes, if people are in need of a political assignment when they arrive to Mexico, they could go to our embassy there and file legally, and then they could enter the country illegally like all of us have done. I'm an immigrant. I love this country, I love the law, and we all are under the law, and we should rule this country by law. And this is the reason I support President Trump. I support his agenda, and I support building the wall. And yes, absolutely. Build the wall. Build the wall. Build the wall. Build the wall.
Thank you, sir. Avi, you are next, sir.
Okay, let's build a wall. But listen, like Nicholas says, this is a bigger issue. But what people are understanding is, first of all, to answer your question, yeah, we do need to enforce our asylum protocols. They are in place. So the people coming across the border, again, they're illegals, they're not welcome, but we also have to respect our asylum protocols. That being said, the bigger issue here is on illegal immigration is who's behind it all. Forget about the crime, even though it runs rampant on the border. Forget about the radical Islam that we know that's just above even in Canada, but also in Mexico. But the fact, the biggest criminal we have to face, the biggest threat we have in illegal immigration is the country of Mexico itself. That country is so corrupt. They facilitate illegal immigration. Make no mistake about it. We control our immigration, as do they. This is a deliberate act. Illegal immigrants come here to make money off us. They send it back to Mexico. Yep. That's what they do. So we need to focus on Mexico. I'm all for sanctions against Mexico. Believe me, they need to be held responsible, first and foremost. So yeah, again, let's build a wall because it's our right to do so. But the wall is very symbolic, but we also have to make sure that we address the wall entirely, not just building a wall. These guys are going to dig under, so we have to make sure that issues are in place to make sure they can't dig holes or come across in other ways, like other words, like go in from our other points of entries, like ports and whatnot. So building the wall is a bigger issue here, not just building a physical wall along the southern border.
Thank you, sir.
Tax money transfers.
Avi, take this first question, please. Republicans are eager to rein in government, cut spending, and put America on a path to pay down its debt. Do you agree that we owe it to our children and grandchildren to get federal spending under control now? And if so, what are your proposals to do that? And what are you prepared to cut? And if you say waste, fraud, and abuse, that's the last question you get tonight.
Waste, fraud, and abuse. So again, again, we all know there's waste, fraud, and abuse in this country. Oh, you're not gonna cut me down, right? All right. But anyways, there's a lot of these we can do. Look, the U.S. House of Representatives holds the purse strings to the government. There's a lot we can do. First, cut the regulations. Because look, I deal with these guys all the time. I know how it works behind the scenes. At the end of the day, look, as a member of Congress, like I said, you hold the purse strings. There's a lot of bills you can put in place to cut taxes. You can actually do a lot with Medicare. Cut a lot of these entitlements. That's what the problem is. The entitlement problem we have in this country is out of control. That's the first place I would start, or continue with a lot of members of Senator Congressman DeSantis has done. We need to focus on the entitlements first and foremost. Look, the Tax Reform Act was great. We passed it, is great. But we need more taxes. More taxes is great for us. That means if there's less taxes is great for us. If there's less taxes, we don't have to worry about the government spending, because they're not going to have the money to spend, the extra money to spend.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. As somebody with a background in business, I could really appreciate that question. And, we can't tax our way out of this problem. Cutting taxes in this country is good for businesses. What we actually have to do is we have to grow our economy and generate more revenue, because we have crumbling infrastructure, and we have to understand the difference between spending and investing. We have a crumbling infrastructure that we really need to address in this country. So the solution is some of the things that the president is already doing to level the playing field in terms of trade, so we can sell more products overseas. We can increase our revenue base. So we can't tax our way out of this problem. What we have to do is we have to continue supporting the president in his initiatives to help grow the economy, and we need to grow our way out of this, because we can't cut enough taxes to help address the deficit.
There is many ways to take care of the deficit. First of all, we have $500 billion trade deficit. That is half of our yearly deficit, which is $1 trillion. So the president is addressing a very big issue in order to bring a real solution to our deficit. So if we take care of $500 billion in trade deficit, we're 50% home. Then 30% of our budget is spent and wasted in healthcare. It's totally wasted. It's being robbed through many different schemes and scams that is happening. Just like they had over $1 billion, there is a scheme was happening here in Florida where they cheated healthcare and Medicare for over $1 billion only last year. So, one other thing is promoting small businesses. Tax reform, where we have to encourage and get the small business, the middle class, to get going, to give them money, initiate them, to get loans, to get their businesses happening, because our economy is based on the thrive of small businesses. 80% of our economy is through our small businesses. So if we take care of that, plus what the president is addressing, many different regulations that he's been deregulating in order for tax reforms, tax cut, economy, manufacturing, and many others.
Thank you, sir. Question for Mr. Walters, to go first. On May 14th, 2018, the United States officially opened our embassy in Jerusalem, Israel. 70 years to the day that President Truman recognized Israel as an independent country. Two-part question for our guests. Do you support President Trump's decision to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and to place our embassy there? 2, do you believe that by taking this issue off the table, that it will make it easier or more challenging to achieve peace between Israel and its Arab neighbors?
Yes, I absolutely agree 100% with the president's decision to recognize Jerusalem as a capital of Israel and to move our embassy to Israel. Because I believe every country has a right to determine where their capital should be. I don't believe that it makes it more difficult to achieve peace in the region, because when you have people that really want peace, I mean, when people decide in the region that they really want peace, they can sit down and negotiate anything. I mean, matter of fact, I think it puts Israel in a position where they can actually maybe make concessions to the Palestinians in return for peace, to let them have, the part of Jerusalem that they want for their own capital. So I think that, it's the Israelis government. They need to make their own decision, and they can, do whatever they decide, because they're a free country and countries should make their own decisions.
You need a question over again? Or you good?
No, I'm good. I have lived this problem. I was born in Lebanon, and I have seen wars and civil wars. I have seen wars against Israel. I have seen wars against Lebanon, against the Middle East. Yes, I do support the president with his decision. And yes, by making this decision, this will bring peace closer to happen. It will happen by the way he has planned it, just like what he did in Saudi Arabia. He had 54 Muslim nations leader there agreeing to his policy, agreeing to his view of solutions in the Middle East. Yes, we will have peace. Yes, President Trump is going to have, for the first time after 70 years, peace in the Middle East, peace among the Palestinians and the Israelis and the Arabs. And this will bring a great solution for the nation and will make our president look great. And we as a nation that we lead the world, we lead peace throughout the world, we gotta keep focusing on bringing peace to the world, just as North Korea, same as the Middle East, Israel and Palestine, the same as anywhere in the world. This is our responsibility. This is our great way of proving to the world that we're a great nation and we're a nation of peace. We care, we love, and we will make this peace happen in the Middle East and everywhere else.
Yes, I support moving the embassy to Jerusalem, but let me just tell you, there's no concessions here. This guy wants to have concessions with a radical Islamist Palestinian Authority. I don't think we agree with that, because this is what we're dealing with here. There's no one-state solution. There's no two-state solution. I'm sorry, there's a one-state solution, but two-state solution, I'm sorry. Until Abbas is gone, and as you all know, Abbas gives out government cheese or dollars, whatever he does over there, give out to the families of radical Islamists who killed themselves, martyrs, if you would. So how could we even consider concession? How can Israel consider concessions with a radical Islamic organization that wants to kill them every single day? That is asinine, and that's amateur hour here tonight. I'm embarrassed. Thank you.
you can respond to that for 30 seconds.
You know, I'm not surprised when, you know, you say things, people have a tendency of trying to twist with your statement. I said it puts the Israeli government in a position to negotiate but even the president said his decision doesn't take East Jerusalem off of the table for the Palestinians, but it's up to the Israeli government to determine a solution. I'm not advocating for anything. I'm saying the Israeli government has an opportunity to dangle East Jerusalem as a carrot if they choose to. I'm not advocating for anything, and I never said I was.
Thank you.
Next question is, we will start with Nicholas. Mr. Kamaz, President Trump has been very consistent in stating that he is in favor of an America first foreign policy. Do you agree with the president? And if so, what does America first mean to you?
Yes, I agree with the president. America first means we are responsible for our own country, for our own border, for our own children, for our own economy. We have to make sure that our country thrives. We have to make sure that our economy thrives. We have to make sure that our borders are secure. We have to make sure that the enemies of this country are destroyed away from this country. We stop them before they even think of attacking us. This is America first. Healthcare, America first. Education is America first. And controlling our and making our army a great army, investing in our army in order to keep peace throughout the world. And we are the #1 country in the world that we make the economy in the world thrive. We make everything happens in this country has a ripple effect throughout the world. Whatever happens here, whether with a good economy, it has a great ripple effect to the world. If we had bad economy, it has a ripple effect to the world. And also what's happening right now in terms of our president and the respect to him and his policies and what he's doing to this country to put America first is the greatest agenda that every American has to follow. Every American has to raise the standard. Every American has to believe that America first, not the foreign countries, not any other countries. We love this country, we stand for this country, and we will protect this country, and we will stand behind the president from now until 2020 comes along where he is re-elected.
Thank you.
Look, America first, everyone else second. I think we all agree with that. What the president's done is uncanny. He's done something that not even President Reagan could do, and bring North Korea to their knees. He moved the embassy, the U.S. embassy to Jerusalem. But I want to take issue, and Nicholas is a great guy, but I want to take issue with him on one thing. He is for America, and I don't doubt that. But just recently, Mr. Kamaz said that the Arab culture is the best culture in the world, and I want to know what he meant by that.
Where did I say that?
You said, I forgot the newspaper, but I have it though, if you want to see the...
All right, but hold on, Javi. Just,
No, but I want to ask him that.
no, but you can just answer the America First foreign policy question.
No. So again, all of us are Americans here. For many years, even throughout, especially throughout the Obama administration, we have seen our standing around the world has been compromised. No one respects, our enemies don't respect us. Now they fear us. And you know what? We don't need friends. We need people to fear us, because when they fear us, they respect us.
Nicholas, all right, so there was some suggestion made. Please respond before we get to Mr.
Javier,
Walters.
your
30
game.
seconds.
Javier, your game will not work with me. I am an American. I'm a Christian. I have fought the jihadists.
Never question that.
I have fought the PLO, I have fought the communists with a real machine gun, with a real bazooka in the trenches of Beirut. So whatever you're trying to say will not work here. So whatever you said is not true at all.
Scott, I have Mr. Kamaz gave an interview to a Lebanese-based newspaper.
No, Javi.
No.
Javi. Sorry about that.
Thank you for the question. You know, I'm an immigrant, and I'm proud of the culture and my heritage. And so, you know, it's unseemly to attack somebody for being proud of their culture and their heritage, because I'm also proud to be an American too. I don't know if a lot of you know, but Alexander Hamilton, the founder of our economic system, was born on the island of Nevis in the Caribbean. He migrated to the United States Virgin Islands, where I grew up, and then he became one of our founding fathers. So when you attack people for their culture, you're not only attacking that person, but you're attacking the American dream and the way of life, and everybody should be able to stand up and be proud of their culture. I just had to say that real quickly before I answer the question. You know, we need a strong military as America First policy. But one of the things I want to say quickly is my parents moved to this country 47 years ago because they believed in the principles of the American dream. They wanted me and my brothers and sisters to have an opportunity at a better life. I have a sister today that's the Assistant Attorney General of the U.S. Virgin Islands. My brother is a SWAT team commander on the island of St. Croix. And my younger brother is over technology for the entire Broward Health System. And I just completed my doctorate in global business. We have an obligation to leave this country so future generations can have an opportunity at the American dream. And when I hear America first, I believe that is what we need to do. We need to have a sound footing so future generations can have an opportunity, the American dream. We need to bring American manufacturing back to this country. We need to support small businesses, because small businesses are the life and blood that keeps our economy going.
Thank you.
Next question for Javi. This is an individual question to you. We're going to get into our individual question now to each candidate. Javi, in a message to your supporters, you have stated that Congressman Deutsch supports misguided and un-American foreign and domestic policies that have left the United States exposed to greater dangers both at home and abroad. You have called Deutsch a shameful extremist and a liar. Specifically, what un-American policies, both foreign and domestic, are you referring to? What has Congressman Deutsch lied about, and why do you label him an extremist?
Well, it's very simple. The entire Obama agenda, he's given a full-throated endorsement up to. The entire agenda, that, including the military rules of engagement, because how many American soldiers have died because of the rules of engagement over in Afghanistan and Iraq? Until they changed it, things changed. Congressman Deutsch, he's no friend of Israel. He says he's a friend of Israel, but he's really not, because what he does, look what he did with Iran. He was against the deal, but now he wants to continue it. Why is that? He's no friend of Israel. The problem with Ted Deutsch is that he doesn't know what to say. He'll say anything that'll push his agenda forward. And when I say he lied, really he lies about everything in particular. Everything he says is a lie, sir.
Thank you. Edison. Individual question. Sorry.
Individual questions now.
Sorry, sir.
For this round. Next question is for Mr. Walters. Mr. Walters, your Republican primary opponent sitting next to you has suggested that you are a Democrat Party plant. He states that you ran for the United States Congress in Alabama twice as a Democrat. that you were a part of the local Democrat Party establishment and actually supported Hillary Clinton in 2016 against Donald Trump. Do you care to comment on this, please, sir, to our audience?
You know, once again, you know, people, you know, when they feel you're a threat, they are more than willing to misinterpret or state things as the way they see it. I lived in Alabama for about 20 years after I graduated from the University of Alabama. The 7th congressional district in Alabama is about 70% Democrat. My very first job when I graduated from college, I went to work as a volunteer 9 to 5, and I worked 6 months to help small businesses. I've always been an advocate for small business, and I wanted to make a difference in the district. And Republicans, frankly, didn't have any chance to win in the district, and so I got involved in the political process there. In 2006, I ran as a Democrat, and you can go to my Twitter account and see in 2010, I actually became an independent candidate. Mr. Javier saw a picture of me and Hillary on the same stage and tried to make the assertion that I supported Hillary. I was in an event commemorating the Voting Rights Act in the United States, in the United States, that gave minorities, black Americans, the right to vote, where Hillary Clinton happened to be a speaker, and it was just a chance that I was on stage with Hillary Clinton at the time. Look at me. Do you think I would not attend a commemoration of the Voting Rights Act that gave me the right to stand here in front of you today? I'm telling you today, I would go to that same ceremony no matter who was on the stage, because as Americans, we should be proud of the progress we have made in this country. I became an independent in 2010. In 2015, I was one of the first people that supported Donald Trump. Go to my Twitter, go to my Facebook, see all the posts I made in support of President Trump before most Republicans were even willing to support him.
Scott, you misrepresented what I said, so let me correct the record.
You got 30 seconds to respond.
I suggested he could be.
First of all, I don't misrepresent.
I'm sorry. Well,
So
I didn't
correct that for our audience.
He didn't misrepresent. He misspoke, maybe. I didn't say.
No, I didn't.
Well, Scott, I didn't.
You have
say,
30 seconds to respond to
Okay.
Mr. Walters.
Mr. Walters did stand on the stage in Selma for what he said happened. But in his Facebook post, he said 2016 is her year. He said that a few years ago. I'm not questioning the actual picture. I'm questioning what he said. And he says he's an independent. Yes, he ran twice, became an independent. But in a statement a few years ago, he said, I am a Democrat, shortly before quoting President Obama. We can. We have the documentation. It's on social media. He's trying to scrub whatever he has to scrub and find.
I invite everybody to go to my Facebook page, read for themselves, and see exactly what I said. In 2010, I posted that I was going to qualify as an independent. I became an independent. I was one of the very first supporters of Donald Trump. And I was one of, and look at the dates that everything is posted. You can take your cell phone out right now.
I'm sorry. I have to stop him because that's bull. He scrubbed his Facebook, but I have everything for posterity from screen capture.
This is the debate.
It's okay to walk away.
Nicholas. Oh, no. Hold on. Sorry.
Nicholas, individual question, sir. You have stated that Ted Deutsch has no moral character to serve as a congressman. Specifically, what did you mean by that accusation, and why should the voters of District 22 believe you are of a superior moral character than Mr. Deutsch?
Any supporter of abortion is without morals. We cannot support abortions. Any supporter against the rights of this country, against what this country stands for, the Second Amendment, This is a person without moral compass. Mr. Deutsch has been charading after the Parkland shooting with bills to control guns. He's been all over the news. He's been all over town hall speaking. He's been to Congress introducing a bill to control guns. And to me, this is a person without morals whatsoever.
Thank you, sir. Question for, we'll start with Mr. Kamaz on that topic. Very simple question. It's a hot issue, especially with the Supreme Court selection just recently made by President Trump. Do you support the repeal of Roe versus Wade? And please elaborate to our audience as to why or why not.
Yes, yes, yes! I support repealing Roe versus Wade because since it's been on the books, over 60 million unborn child have been murdered in this country. We cannot accept that. I cannot personally accept it. And we have to support President Trump, support the new nominee, Brett Kavanaugh, in order that they will come where we could reverse Roe versus Wade. That will be a big victory to this country. We have a law to import foreigners just because we cannot maintain our population. And the reason we're not able to maintain our population in this country because we are murdering our unborn children. This has to be stopped. Something has to happen. And now we have the chance. It is no accident having President Trump in the White House. And it is no accident having Judge Kennedy retiring. It is done because of the grace of God, and God is looking after us, and He wants us to reverse Roe versus Wade so we can save our unborn children, so we can have beautiful 60 million children for the next 20 years. That's what we need. This is why I support reversing this unbearable Roe versus Wade. It's not acceptable at all.
Thank you. Look, what can I say? Let me just say, there's a lot of people who are Republican who do support abortion. I don't, wholeheartedly don't. I have 9 months of reason why I don't. We're about to have one any minute. Michelle and I are going to have our second child. So there's a reason. Florida Right to Life and National Right to Life has already endorsed us. There's a reason why they did that. We've been proponents of against the abortion lobby for years. Look, I always say this, and I take a lot of grief from liberal Democrats, is that no one, regardless of who you are, whatever you want to do with your body, I don't care. But no one, I mean, no one has the right to play God with the life of an unborn baby or child.
Thank you. Yeah, I support ending Roe v. Wade simply because I'm a Christian and I believe life begins at conception. But you know, I want to take the rest of my time to respond to something that was said here tonight. In 2006, I ran for Congress because I wanted to help small businesses. And I was in a district that was predominantly Republican. In 2010, I declared that I was going to attempt to qualify on the ballot as an independent. And if you look at my record, after 2010, there was absolutely no activity because I wasn't involved in any party. I went back to school to work on my MBA in 2010. In 2012, I started working on my doctorate degree. But like so many Americans who were previously in the Democratic Party, I stood up and I supported President Trump because I believe that his business principles were the right thing that our country needed at the time. You know, when I was in the Democratic Party, everywhere I talked about small businesses, they told me, you sound like a Republican. And so small businesses have been a passion of mine because I know it was because of that small business my parents opened that me and my two brothers and sisters were able to achieve the American dream. And I can tell you today, if I have to go sit down with David Duke, or if I have to go sit down with Minister Farrakhan to get the changes I need so we can help the struggling mom and pops across this country, I will go anywhere and sit down with anyone to help our struggling small businesses in this country.
Thank you. Probably 30 seconds.
No, regardless of what circumstance, I will never sit down with David Duke or Louis Farrakhan. Bunch of anti-Semites and racists. That speaks volumes of our candidate. And I want to address something, this individual, we're going to call him Lion Eddie. Because in his opening remarks,
Be nice.
well, yeah, you know,
Be civil. That's
Yes.
what the Republican Party's all about, right,
but,
folks?
right. So I need to say this because
We're not them.
Right. I need to say this because this individual has accused me of being an ex-convict. Let me explain something to you. Politics is a blood sport. If you can't feel the heat, if you feel the heat and you can't deal with it, 2 words of advice. Grow a pair, tell the truth, and don't
Thank you,
disrespect
Harvey.
anyone. The point is, I've never been convicted
enough, sir.
of a crime. He's been arrested twice. Explain that one.
Yes, you know, when you plead guilty to a crime and serve years, 2 years probation, technically you hadn't really been found guilty. But you know, when you have case after case of violence that is involved, I mean, you believe that everybody else is wrong, and you know, the arrogance of somebody to think that he can explain that type of way, things away, is beyond me.
Again,
Hold on.
I don't know
Hold
where
on.
you got your degree.
Hold on a second. We're not going to have any personal attacks. We're just going to talk about the format.
All right, final question for our esteemed guest before the closing arguments or statements. Gentlemen, you have come out very strongly against Roe versus Wade. You obviously have made it a feature of your campaigns to be proud Christian men running for Congress. So my question is this. Do you believe marriage should be between one man and one woman? The congressional district that you hope to represent has a sizable LGBT community. How do you plan on reaching out to that community if, in fact, you are hostile to the Supreme Court's redefinition of marriage? And do you favor a judicial reconsideration of that decision or a constitutional amendment returning control over marriage to the states? Let's start with Mr. Walters.
Like I said before, I'm a Christian, I've been an evangelist, and I serve one God, and my Bible tells me that marriage is between one man and one woman. You know, people say they are conservative, but when you look at their lifestyle and how they live their lifestyle, you can see whether or not they really have conservative values. So when you think about conservatives, consider the source. Don't look at what somebody say, look at what they do to determine whether they're conservative or not.
Nick.
Let's glorify God first. The Bible tells us as a Christian how we should lead our life and the moral compass we should follow. And that's what I follow. And at the same time, the Bible says respect the law and respect your leaders and respect what the laws state. I have respect to the law. I am no one to judge anyone to what they do. My faith and my belief, I live it myself. I look at it for myself, my family, and that's how I view things in life. I cannot judge anyone. I'm no one to judge anyone. All of us live in the same country, under the same sun, and it rains all over us. There's a law, and I support the law. Whatever the law is, I support it. I love this country. I love my faith. I love being Christian. I love my Bible. I follow it, and I focus on myself. I focus on my faith, and I focus on my belief. And everyone else, because this is a free country, they could live their life their own way, as long as they don't shove it down my throat.
I support traditional marriage. But look, everyone can do whatever they want. It's none of my business to judge or tell you how to live your life and who to love. I really don't care. First of all, look, I always say this, and a lot of the boys in the district laugh. If you want to lose half your money in a divorce like the rest of us, go right ahead. No issue with that. But no one should tell you who to love and what to do. I respect the laws. So if in this, first of all, this is a state rights issue. We shouldn't be dealing with this on a federal level. This is a state rights issue. It should be up to the states. If Florida passed a law and everyone votes that gay marriage is legal, then so be it. We respect the law. We enforce the law. But listen, this district has the highest per capita gay community in the entire United States of America. There is a ton of gay individuals, conservative, Republican, independent, you name it, black, white, Hispanic. It doesn't make a difference. So if you're going to come out and condemn them for their lifestyle, you just lost that entire voting block.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. We are now at the stage of our closing statements. And I want to give each candidate 2 minutes to close. I had said one originally, but I think they deserve to. Let's give them all a big round of applause. They did a great job. Every one of them did a great job. We're grateful and thankful that they all appeared. It takes a lot of guts to get up here and answer these tough questions, and I'm grateful. Thank you, gentlemen. You guys were great. Closing arguments. Edison Walters, you got 2 minutes.
First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, and I hope this was very informative. You know, I love this country, and one of the proudest days of my life was when I took my oath to serve this country. I believe that we have an opportunity to do some things with the president that we have today that could put our country back on solid footing so the future generations can have an opportunity to achieve the American dream. You know, what really inspired me was one day I really sat down and I thought about it. And I asked myself the question, if my parents came to this country today, would me and my 2 brothers and sisters have the opportunity to achieve the American dream? And I didn't know the answer to that question. And I really felt that something was wrong with that. I believe that we need to leave this country in the shape so future generations can have an opportunity at the American dream. And that starts with bringing manufacturing back to this country. Through the manufacturing process, we create innovation. We create future generations, future industries. And people don't talk about that enough. When we ship manufacturing overseas, we are shipping entire industries of the future. We need to work to ensure the future generation have an opportunity to achieve the American dream. And I will fight for that every day for the rest of my life. Thank you.
Thank you. Nicholas? I'm not a politician. I will never be a politician. The reason I'm running is to glorify God, to bring God and prayers back to government and schools. We have to support the president. I am running to defeat Ted Deutsch. I'm running because this district is in need of a man like myself to stand up for you, to have the guts and the experience as a warrior and as a fighter to fight for you, fight for your rights, fight for your beliefs, fight for your faith without shame and being shy. I am running to put America first. I'm running to heal America as a healer, and I'm running to help build the wall, to stop radical Islam, to stop terrorism. I'm running to help the tax reform, to make the tax cut permanent. I'm running to bring greatness to this country. And I want to ask Javier to make a commitment and a promise that when I win the primary, he will bring his $1 million to my campaign.
I think it goes without saying, I think all of us up here, regardless of where we come from, are God-fearing Americans. It goes without question. And we're all running for the right reasons. Some very different, but most are for the right reasons. Look, the America First agenda has been an agenda that we should have been following years ago. Unfortunately, we had poor leadership. That's what we're supporting now. And that's what we need to continue to support, because the threat that we're facing, the threat that I face every single day, the evil face of liberalism, is not going to stop until it completely defeats our American way of life. That is the threat. That's why I'm running. I'm running not for myself, but for my family, for you, all of you, because we're no different. You and I, regardless of where we come from, regardless of our political affiliation, I'm sure there's independents in here, we're all Americans, and I'm running for you because in this district, to win this district, you have to be on a path of victory. We're on that path. You have to be able to have the resources, the grassroots, the name ID to be able to win. This is a district that they never thought they would have to defend. It takes one individual to win it. Ted Deutsch has already acknowledged our candidacy. I need your support, I need your help to be able to defeat him, because at the end of the day, if we lose this seat, we may very well lose if we don't obtain the seat, we may lose the House. If we lose the House, the plan is to impeach the president. They may not kick him out of office, but they look to impugn him enough so it'll hurt him in the sense that they'll label him a lame duck. It'll hurt him in 2020. That is why I'm running. We're running to preserve our American way of life.
Thank you very much. Closing remarks, gentlemen. Tremendous job. Let's give him another round of applause, please. You're all good men. Thank you very much. Now to conclude the questioning to the candidates, we'll be here if you want to ask them individual questions and whatnot. As we get ready to conclude, I think, Linda, do we have any more auction? Okay, we have some raffles. No, but I just wanted to acknowledge the winners of our silent auction. Stand up, Brian Turner, for the Super